webinar is What Do You Want to Do When You Grow Up? From Youthful to Useful. It gives me great pleasure to honor our distinguished speaker, Dr. Cullen Hayashida. With a PhD in sociology from the University of Washington, Dr. Hayashida has dedicated over 4 decades to transforming the way we approach aging and elder care. As the founding director of Kapuna Education Center at Kapilani Community College, he established Hawaii's first community college-based gerontology center, creating programs such as entry-level paraprofessional training, family caregiver education, and initiatives for active aging. He also played a key role in drafting Hawaii's white paper on active aging, which shaped the statewide policies on aging. Additionally, Dr. Hayashida is the director of Maluhia Waitlist Demonstration Project to be able to better accommodate nursing home level patients with home renovations for wheelchair accessibility and fire safety corrections, and the development of Kapuna Connection radio and TV shows to educate the public on aging-related issues. Now, we are so honored to have Dr. Hayashida. His influence is far beyond Hawaii. He is the founding board member of the Active Aging Consortium in Asia Pacific, where he works with international collaborators to promote active aging in countries like Japan, Korea, and Australia. He has also served as technical consultant on Japan's long-term care insurance system and shared his enterprise on aging-in-place models across the globe, including lectures in Waseda University in Tokyo. His work has directly impacted elder care policy, workforce training, community engagement, earning him the recognition as a thought leader in gerontology. We are so honored to have Dr. Cullen Hayashida. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Hayashida.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Fernandez. That was more than I expected as far as an introduction, but I appreciate that. So hello, everyone. Today, I will be speaking about a topic that is not about clinical services for your clients or your residents. No, I want to talk about you. As caregivers, it is important to be well. However, wellness is not just about your weight or your diet or your exercise or your blood pressure. It is also not just about how much money you have or how much money you want to make. All of this, of course, is important. Health care and financial wellness are also very important and necessary, but it is not enough. So the title of today's webinar is, What Do You Want to Do When You Grow Up? And I assume, of course, we're all older adults or adults at least. But the question is, what do you want to do when you grow up? From youthful to useful. And so we will be focusing on some broad questions about getting our bearings about where we are right now. You know, when we look at our cars as you get older, we do a 50,000 mile checkup on our cars. And we need to do that for our lives as well. So where are we? Where am I? Who am I? Where am I going with my life? These are important questions that we have to ask ourselves. And in this session, basically, I'm asking questions having to do with the importance of life planning, and not just financial planning, the importance of being aware of the difference between what we call lifespan and health span. I want to talk a little bit about active aging. We won't have much time, but I'll have some slides for you to review later. And I also finally want to kind of have you begin to think about finding purpose and finding purpose in your life and getting started with that whole process, because it does take time and it's not something that can be done immediately. So first of all, here's this situation here. We're at a point in our lives when we look forward and we realize that, we have an expiration date. We all have an expiration date. We will not live forever. So at this point in our lives, we may be asking ourselves various types of questions. What is my purpose? What is my passion? Who am I without my job title? At some point in your life, you will retire and you will ask yourself, who am I without my job title? Will I have enough money for 30 more years? Do I relocate? Or do I age in place in my home? Or do I go to a nursing home or a care home or an assisted living facility? How do I want to be remembered? How can I maintain my good health? What do I do now after I have retired? Do I continue to dye my hair and Botox my skin? How will I be functional? How can I be able to eat and bathe and dress and groom and feed and toilet myself by myself independently for as long as possible? What will I do with all my spare time when I am retired? What have I done so far? Where am I going with my life? Will I be a burden to my kids? What if I'm left alone after my spouse dies? Will I remarry? Should I volunteer for my cause? So what's next? What's next? These are big questions that we probably are asking ourselves quietly to ourselves, but are not really sharing this with other people. So these are possibilities. The question is, are we, as seniors, are we going to always ask for discounts? You see this picture here. This is a man that I saw over at Costco one day, and he had this T-shirt on that says, "Don't forget my senior discount." This guy is a taker. He always is looking for ways in which he can get more because he's a senior. But are we just going to be takers all of our lives rather than contributors? Are we going to grow old, or are we going to grow whole? Are we going to just survive, or are we going to thrive? Are we going to prepare to decline, or are we going to try to work to discover? Are we going to try to continue to seek status and try to become famous and great and have everybody bow down to us? Or are we going to try to search for significance, try to make a difference? Or are we going to just be has been or will be? Are we just winding down and retiring, or rewiring and refiring? Are we just seeking to remain youthful by dyeing our hairs all the time, or are we trying to become useful? These are major questions that we have to ask ourselves at our age as we continue to do our work as caregivers in our business. So these are important questions for us to maintain wellness. So big question is, who am I when I am no longer working? Okay. Who am I without my job title? And should I just be who others expect me to be? So these are questions that you need to ask yourself. Now, one of the things that I wanted to do was to show you this slide here. There's a difference between what we call lifespan and health span. So lifespan is like life expectancy, the length of time that we can expect to live. And health span is the length of time that we can expect to live in a functional state, that is, with the ability to live independently, with the ability to eat and bathe and dress and groom and feed and toilet ourselves and go and do our shopping and handle our own finances. That's health span. And what we want to do, as you can see in this particular graph, we have information from 4 different countries: US, Korea, China, and Japan. And the red line represents our life expectancy or our health, a lifespan, and the green line represents our health span. And you can always see that the health span is shorter than the health lifespan by about 7 years. So the gap of 7 years is a time that we need long-term care. That's when we are not able to eat and bathe and dress and groom and feed and toilet ourselves. So the question then becomes, how can we reduce this period of disability so that our health span and our lifespan is equal? And there is no difference between the two. That is the goal of gerontology. All right? That's what we want to do. So what we have here is this particular graph that shows the human lifespan. This is a kind of a theoretical model of a lifespan. So the bottom line is age from 0, let's say, to 100, and the vertical line is our level of functional ability from 0 to 100. So when you hit 100 on your vertical line in terms of functional ability, you're totally independent, right? So at birth, obviously, you're totally dependent, and perhaps by the age of 10, you are quite independent. You can do a variety of things by yourself, and you remain independent for some time. And then what happens is that people do not take care of themselves very well. They have this slippery slope downwards, where they begin to experience that they are not able to do as much. They're beginning to walk less, begin to have more belly fat, and their whole lifestyle begins to change, and they begin to do less, and they start eating perhaps more than they should. What successful aging is all about is to keep that horizontal line as horizontal as possible until our natural lifespan, followed by immediate death. So the goal is to live long and to die short. To live long and die short. That's what we should strive for. We do not want to live long and die long. Isn't that correct? Okay, so what that requires is for us to be physically active, mentally stimulated, engage in a socially stimulating and strong social network, have friends and support, have purpose and meaning in your life, and have an environment to support that lifestyle. So we want to live long and we want to die short. And we want to have our lifespan equal our health span. And that's the goal. In order to do that, we have what we call this there's different aspects of active aging that we need to pay attention to. And we won't have enough time to go through all of this, but I'll have slides for you to look at later. But active aging is a lifestyle that requires us to pay attention to physical fitness, to medical fitness, to nutritional fitness, financial fitness, consumer protection fitness, and so on. There are many, many aspects to this. So just to think about how much exercise you get, or how often you eat nutritional food, that's important. And obviously, we need to make certain that we do not overspend or overuse our credit cards. So all of these things are important, but they are 11 facets, 11 parts to what we consider to be an important part of an active aging lifestyle. So there's all of these information with regards to physical fitness and some tips, medical fitness, nutritional fitness, financial fitness, consumer protection fitness, social fitness, some importance, the importance of that, mental fitness, emotional fitness, recreational fitness, and even what we call fourth age planning and legacy. So this is quite complex, and we won't have time to go through all of this. But one of the things that is going to be important in all of this is what we call life purpose. The purpose part is very important, and this is the part that I wanted you to kind of pay more attention to. And this is where I wanted you to begin thinking about and having some discussions around. When we talk about life purpose, we're talking about things like skills. What are my gifts? What are my talents and skills? Passion. What is my passion? What do I really love to do? What are my values? What are my responsibilities based upon what the world needs? And what is my life work? Why am I here? Okay, so these are the key questions that we need to ask ourselves in order for us to live a vibrant life. So here's a quick review of these 11 facets. Physical fitness, keep moving. There are 4 different kinds of exercise. Medical fitness, lower your risk and work closely with your physician. Nutritional fitness, eat for the long haul. Financial fitness, watch your cash flow. Consumer protection, beware of scams and abuses. Mental fitness, challenge your brain. Social fitness, stay connected, find your tribe. So emotional fitness, lighten up and laugh out loud. Recreational fitness, play is not just for children. 4th age planning and legacy, plan for the 3rd age or the 4th age, which is a period when you know that you need to begin to think about aspects like having a legacy, thinking about decluttering, the possibility of having to relocate to a smaller location, and your wills, your trusts, and all those things. If those things are not addressed before you pass, you are creating a tremendous amount of burden on your loved ones later. So do some 4th age planning, and so think about how you would like to be remembered. And finally, purpose. Why are you here? And that's what I wanted to focus on here today. So when we talk about 4th age, the process we're talking about is initially we need to conduct, every one of us need to conduct some type of a self-assessment. As I mentioned, you need to conduct a 50,000-mile checkup. And, look at the road that you've traveled, your high points, your low points. What are your core values? Assess your skills and your strengths and your weaknesses. Discuss your passions. And think about the work that uses your skills. And so these are things that we need to do, everyone, if we are going to be able to think about our next 20 to 30 years in a positive and a vibrant way. Otherwise, upon retirement, you may have about 2 years when you're sort of just decompressing and then going on cruises or having fun. But after a while, you may become bored and depressed and lonely, and you feel like you're riding a boat without a rudder. And so we don't want that to happen, because once that happens, we do not begin to take care of ourselves, and consequently, health becomes more of a challenge. So one of the things we want to do now is, before we start our discussion, I want you to begin thinking about what gifts do people come to you for? Every one of us have gifts. What gifts do people say, you're so good at that? Think about that. And what gifts do you enjoy so much that you lose track of time? So purposeful living involves doing what matters most to us and living for what we value. And you need to begin to sort of think about this. And so the question that I want to start off first of all is ask yourself, why are you here? Okay, we've got another 20 to 30, maybe more than that, as far as time that we have left. But begin thinking about, what do you wish to do with the time that you have left to live on this planet? If you had just 1 year left to live, what would you want to do with that time? If you had just 1 month to live, if you had just 1 week to live, what would you like to do? And how would you like to be remembered? And what would you have some regrets for if you did not do those things before you pass? What's important to you? So in order for you to begin thinking about that, let me sort of give you some triggers for you to think about. Purpose triggers. Who would you want to become? And what changes would you want to make in the world, or for your family, or for your group that you belong to? What barriers do you want to remove? What actions would you like to take? What impact would you like to make? What legacies would you like to live? What relationships do you have with others that may not be so great and did you want to create or improve? What comforts would you like to give to your care, to your residents or your clients? Or what goals would you like to still achieve? And what confidence would you like to build? So all of these things are triggers for you to think about. And I want you then to begin thinking about some of these. And we're going to have time right now for a quick 10-minute breakout. And these are questions I want you to think about. One, I want you to ask yourselves, I want you to react to what I've talked about right now. I want you also to discuss what's important to you. These are your values. I want you to also share your passions, your dreams, and what you wish to accomplish before you pass. And think about maybe for the next 6 months, a brief purpose statement of sort. What would be a good purpose statement that could keep you going? See, for myself, my next birthday, I will be 80 years old. And there are things that I still need to accomplish. And the average life expectancy of Hawaii, I think perhaps maybe about 80, 85, 86. So I may say I have about 6 more years to go if I were to use a life expectancy, average life expectancy. Some people may live longer, some people may live shorter. But let's say if I use 86 and I have got 6 more years to go, there's certain things I want to accomplish before I pass. So I need to keep myself physically fit, for example, financially fit and socially fit and so on. But physically, for example, I pay attention to exercise. I swim. I swim regularly, um, probably about well, at least 5 times a week for about a mile. So no, about a kilometer. So it's less than a mile. But essentially, I do that and it's work, but it's a way in which I can retain my physical fitness in order so that I can achieve my purpose. So I want you to begin to think about these things as you think about your life and enter the discussion group to address some of these questions that we have posed for you. All right, let's get started.
Anybody wanna bring up any thing with the purpose triggers? Any comments or anything?
Yeah, if we could have comments maybe from each group, maybe a one person perhaps that want to summarize some of the things that was shared. Maybe one person from each group or something like that, or from 5 groups. What do you think?
Okay, so I was from breakaway group number 12. This is Lynette.
Yeah.
And basically, most of them just said that they wanted to go traveling when they retire. That's common for everyone when they retire. Everybody wants to go traveling.
Sure.
I said I wanted to own a farm. I've always wanted to own a farm. I want to have a lot of animals. I want to spend my time playing with animals when I retire.
Great.
Always been my dream.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. How about another group? Any other group want to share some of their comments with regards to their dreams, what they're shooting for?
Okay, and I was in group 10, breakout room group 10, and group 10 shared, their purpose in life is service and doing God's work. And being a care home operator and a foster home operator really brought home the life they're living, and the meaning in their life is being of service. And they get great joy and fulfillment in taking care of their clients in their home and helping the state of Hawaii in caring for the kapuna, providing best care for the kapuna. So that's a lot of meaning and purpose, really gives them joy that what they're doing. And yes, some others said they want to travel, and maybe Europe will be top of the list.
Sure. Okay. Okay. Wonderful. Any other groups that want to share just a summary, perhaps?
We had someone write in the chat that vacation was something on the top of their list, and just to have a simple life.
A simple life. Okay. Great.
Oh. And another one came through. My dream is to see my kids be successful.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great plan. You got to work hard towards that end. Yeah. We all want our kids to be successful. Great. What else? I think people need to also recognize that, having purpose though is not something that is fixed and unchanging. It will change over time. Maybe you have something for 6 months, and then from there it might turn out that you need to change it again, and which is fine. But with once you have some kind of direction, then everything with regards to your life in terms of why you need to keep yourself physically fit, and watch your diet and watch your finances, and make sure that socially you're connected. All of these things will come together because you have a direction to go towards. So that's the important point that we need to make here. But I think that in this whole process, and other groups may not want to share right now, but what I'd like to encourage you to do is begin talking to your friends, your family, others that were in your group about this particular point, and continue to have that shared so that it can become perhaps something that you can evolve even further. Okay. So anyway, let me go on and wrap up at this point. Is that all right? Okay. Okay. So I would like to just share this one quick video. It's kind of funny in a sense. Everybody remembers Sesame Street. Well, this is called Avenue Q, which is based upon Sesame Street. But in this one particular video, they talk. This is a song with regards to the importance of finding purpose. Okay, so anyway, I'd like to share that with you.
And what are we about to see here?
Well, I just moved to Avenue Q and I'm trying to figure out what to do with my life. So I'm going to sing a song about it.
All right, let's hear it. Take it away, Princeton.
I don't know how I know I'm gonna find my purpose. I don't know where I'm gonna look, but I'm gonna find my purpose. Gotta find out, don't wanna wait. Got to make sure that my life will be great. Gotta find my purpose before it's too late.
He's gonna find his purpose.
Whoa, I'm gonna find my purpose.
He's gonna find
Yeah, I'm gonna find my purpose. Could be far, could be near, could take a week, a month, a year.
Maybe more.
At a job, or smoking grass, maybe at a pottery class. Could it be? Yes, it could.
Yes, it
Something's coming, something good. I'm gonna find my purpose, yeah.
You're gonna find your purpose.
Whoa, I'm gonna find it. What will it be? Where will it be? My purpose in life is a mystery. Gotta find my purpose. Gotta find me.
You're gonna find your purpose.
Whoa, I'm gonna find my purpose. Purpose. Yeah, yeah. I gotta find me.
Princeton, what are we about to see here?
Well, I
Okay.
just moved to Avenue Q and I'm trying to figure out what to do with my life. I just moved to Avenue.
Take it away, Princeton.
Wait now. Oh, oh.
What are we about to see?
So basically, can you see this slide now? Okay, the major point that I'm making here is that we need to look at a transition into retirement, even for those of you who are actively involved with caregiving, with the care homes, foster homes. At some point, you will begin thinking about perhaps transitioning into retirement. But we need to think about the importance of differentiating between lifespan, how long we want to live, and health span, how long we're going to be able to live independently. And we need to find ways with an active aging lifestyle to address a way of making sure that our health span is as long as our lifespan, so that we live long and die short. Okay, we don't want to live long and die long. That requires us for doing a life review. And I'll make reference to a 50,000-mile checkup and redefine ourselves, because we are no longer we're going to ask ourselves, who am I without my job title at some point? And we may need to find people, role models, and mentors that can help us with redefining and finding our journey along the way. So that is part of the reason why I think it's important for us to begin thinking about our purpose statement. And as I mentioned, it is something that is difficult, but having a chance to talk to other people will help us do the life review and to think about, all right, I've got maybe 6, maybe 10, maybe 20 more years to live. What do I want to do with that precious time? And this is an important way in which we can maintain our good health, right? So those are things that I think that are important. And then from there, we can develop an action plan with many steps to sort of try to move forward for the next 6 months, for example, and possibly along the way we say, you know, my purpose is changing a bit, and go ahead, that's fine, and you go ahead and change. But along the way, you go ahead and at least have some kind of direction that will bring things together. You do not want to live life as a bolt without a rudder. Okay, and that's, I think, is a prescription for getting sick. So two things I wanted to point out here. There are two important days in your life. And the first is the day that you were born. And the second is the day that you found out why. And that's a purpose issue. But most of us are living our lives in quiet desperation, and we go to the graves with our song still in us. And so the question becomes one, what is your song? What is your song? Find out that what is your passion, what makes you live life to the fullest, okay? And once you've got some kind of direction along that life, everything else will make sense in terms of why you need to keep yourself physically fit, financially fit, socially fit, and so on. And begin paying attention to some of the 11 facets of active aging so that you can continue to remain healthy, remain engaged, and continue to contribute to the larger society. Thank you. Questions?
Yeah, does anybody have any questions for Dr. Hayashida?
This
We're
was excellent presentation, Dr. Hayashida. It just makes us think, and it reminds me of a lot of the Blue Zones, the documentary and the book. I know the Ikigai you're talking about from like Okinawa and all
That's
of
right.
the ways they stay healthy. So that's amazing. You are sharing this with us and helping us all think about our why. So everybody, we need to know our own personal why. Thank you very much for this thought-provoking presentation.
Okay, thank you.
So we do all thank everyone attending today, especially Dr. Hayashida for what he has explained to us and transforming the way we approach aging. Thank you so much. We do want to talk about the evaluations. You're going to have the evaluation on 5 or 6 different residents, up to 8 residents if you do have 8 residents. What it says is they're wanting you to put in the number of residents that you have in your home. In the first part of the evaluation, you have resident number 1. Resident number 1 will be the resident that you've had for the longest amount of time. So your admission might have been 5-6 years ago. So you check off greater than 5 years. If you've had your resident between 3 to 5 years, you check off 3 to 5 years, 1 to 3 years, or less than a year. So you're going to do one for each of your residents. The first question is, does your resident have an advanced health care directive or a living will in your file? And then you have to answer it yes or no. And if you look in the bottom of the page there, you'll see what it says, advanced health care directive is the heading. Also, does your resident have a post on file? Yes or no? The post is that green form that normally comes with the resident from an SNF or an ICF or from the hospital. Some families do have it. So you want to put down yes or no. That's the green form in the bottom right corner. Those are the forms that we hand over to EMS when we call 911. Normally, they'll ask you if you do have that form. You should be giving it to them at that time. The third question, C, is does your resident have a healthcare power of attorney or healthcare proxy? And again, they want you to answer that yes or no. So for each of your residents, normally 5 residents in care homes, 3 residents in foster homes, they want you to fill this out for each resident. Again, resident number 1 should be the resident that has been with you the longest. And then please notate either less than a year, 1 to 3 years, 3 to 5 years, or greater than 5 years. And then resident number 2 will be the resident that has been with you the second longest, et cetera, et cetera. So there are pages for, or sheets for each of your residents, 1 through 8, if up to 8 if you're a type 2 care home. So please, in the chat box, if you have any questions or if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself, please feel free to do that now, because these are required. The evaluations are required to be completed for you to be able to get your continuing education certificates. So again, if you have a question, please unmute yourself and ask. Again, I do want to say thank you to Dr. Hayashida for his presentation today, Dr. Rita Bell for always leading us in the right direction. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to leave it in the chat box if you don't want to unmute yourself. Happy New Year, everybody. Kung Hee Fat Choi coming up January 29th. Hope you all have a safe, healthy, prosperous 2025.